What's up, buds? How's it hanging? I'm Greg, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about some Batman games. Now, Batman's been around since way before video games were even considered to be a thing, so that means there's a lot to choose from, and I figured, why not start with one of the first ones? Batman for the NES came out just about 6 months before I was born in 1990, so I'm kind of surprised that I never played it before. I guess I would classify it as a platformer, but you also punch and throw things at people. It's an NES game, so the controls are super simple. You jump with A, attack with B, and switch between specials with start. Speaking of special weapons, there are 3 of them. There's the Batarangs, which act as you would expect, the Bat Disc, which splits into 3 once thrown, providing the most coverage, and the Bat Spear Gun, to which I say, what? Batman can also wall jump, making the platforming aspect of the game incredibly fun. The jump is kinda weird to get used to though, because there's an ever so slight delay between pressing the button and the jump happening. I got used to it pretty quickly, so it wasn't much of a problem, just a weird choice. This game is hard but fair until you get to stage 5-1. I couldn't beat 5-1 to save my life. The enemy placement is ridiculous. Like, look at this! There's also a couple jumps that are so tight, they'll snap your bat penis right off. I couldn't get through them without getting hurt 99% of the time. Out of all of my attempts, I only made it through one of the jumps, one time. All in all, I would say this game is worth a try if you like retro games, or if you're just looking for something challenging. I'm glad I decided to give it a shot, and I can see myself coming back to it from time to time because it's fun, and I'd like to beat it someday. I have just one question though. Why the hell is Batman purple?
I love you. You love
Bat penis. Next up, still on the good old NES, is Batman Returns, and this one's hot garbage. Unlike the first one, this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, which in theory should work, but it doesn't. The first thing the game does wrong is it's only one player. Half the fun of playing a beat-em-up is beating them up with your friends. Second, the controls suck and work against themselves. For example, Batman can do this slide attack by pressing down and A at the same time, but when I would be fighting these annoying skeleton biker dudes, the only way to hit them is to do the jump kick. But if they were moving towards the bottom of the screen, naturally I would try to jump towards the bottom of the screen myself to cut them off and kick them in the face, but instead, I would do the slide. The jump kick also only works if you hit A at the pinnacle of your jump, which is annoying as hell because it led to a lot of... You do get Batarangs, but you only have 5 of them, and the first boss is so cheap I had to save them all to beat him. The only nice thing I have to say about this game is that at least Batman isn't purple this time. He's... Man, I don't know where Batman went, but he should have never came back. Don't play this game. Moving on to the 16-bit era of Batman games, we have Batman Returns for the Sega Genesis. Where the hell does he keep going? He returns so much, he should just be called Come Back Man.
right.
When I first started playing this one, I absolutely hated it. The controls are pretty clunky and I had no idea where I was supposed to be going. I just kept going down and to the right thinking I would eventually reach the end of the level. I was wrong. Going down and to the right only led me to a dead end and I could only backtrack so much. That's when I noticed I had a grappling hook, but I had no idea how to use it properly. I eventually realized that you have to push the button again once the hook is attached to retract the line and advance upwards. Once I figured that out, I was able to make a little progress and the hatred started to waver. The special weapons are pretty cool, even though I never really used them. You got your standard Batarangs, then you got bigger Batarangs with homing capabilities along with smoke bombs and whatever the f this is. I think it's a horizontal grappling hook, maybe to grab enemies and bring them within range, but I didn't care enough to find out. I only used the regular Batarangs for these unicycle riding clown douchebags, and I probably wouldn't have beaten the Penguin without the homing Batarangs, but that's about as much as I used them. I do appreciate the variety though. The furthest I made it in the game was the 4th boss. The first 3 weren't that bad, but f this guy. I could work around the clunkiness of the controls most of the time, but I couldn't use the grappling hook quick enough to be able to get on his level, even if I would get ahead of him by a decent amount. This is a game that I wish was better, because it has a lot of potential. I like the graphics and the overall idea of the game, but everything else is a bit underwhelming. The second level of the game is absolute trash, but I probably would have loved this game as a kid, but as an adult with no nostalgia for the game, I probably wouldn't come back to it. The last Batman game I'm going to be talking about in this video is one I know I should dislike more than I do. I think it's one of those it's so bad it's good things, because I know I should dislike it, I know most people dislike it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have any fun while playing it. It's Batman Forever on the Sega Genesis. This one is once again a beat 'em up, and yes, you can experience this shiny turd with your friends. This game actually does a bunch of cool stuff. You can play as both Batman and Robin, even if Robin looks like he has green hair and is balding. It has the most special weapons out of the 4 I've looked at in this video, and 2 of the 4 you can have equipped are interchangeable. The way you use them is pretty cool as well. It's not just a button press this time, it's more like executing a special move in either Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. For example, quarter circle forward followed by the A button throws a Batarang, and there's no limit to how many you can use. This game was built with the MK2 engine, so there's some similarities between them. They both use digitized sprites, and Batman's punches and kicks are straight out of Mortal Kombat. This game was basically Mortal Kombat Mythologies before Mortal Kombat Mythologies was a thing, just without the... I really got a kick out of the enemies from both how they look and the names they were given. I don't know about you, but I always wanted to get my ass kicked by Elton John. Or get stabbed in the dick with a chainsaw from Discount Leatherface. The enemies that you'll face have such wonderful names like Mad Phil, or Mad Ned, or maybe you prefer to get your ass kicked by Antifreeze. To the game's credit, I didn't see any repeating names for the duration of my playtime. That's probably why they're so dumb. The combat is fun, but it's janky as hell, and if there's more than one enemy on the screen, prepare to get wrecked. Ah! Too many Elton Johns! In the end, Batman Forever is kinda like letting out a wet fart. You can get some enjoyment out of it if you find wet farts funny, but no matter what, you end up with shit in your pants. Even though this game is terrible, I may come back to it in the future. It might be fun to do a Let's Play with Bob one of these days. I don't know. We'll see. Well guys, that was only 4 of the countless Batman games that are out there, and the only one from this video I could fully recommend would be the NES one. But I'm morbidly curious as to if there were any other decent Batman games before the Arkham series, so I may look at more in the future. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and do you. Peace nuggets.